Good morning, gardening friends. My name is Lark, and I'm in Wisconsin, Zone 5. Tea Time Tuesday here. Please come join me in a walk through the yard. Diablo 9 bark, catmint, gold flame spirea, and my flagpole area. Most of these are reseeds. We have an annual of sage or salvia called Victoria. That's the oblong leaf one with the jagged edge. Some marigolds, calendula, purple fountain grass, that I did buy. Some sunflower seeds coming up in there close to the flagpole, and some Mexican sunflower. Also, this ferny looking leaf is larkspur, and the humidity is so high I can see my window fogging up, so we'll see if this turns out. And then some ivy, Swedish ivy, I hope hangs over the side. I pulled out an awful lot because last year I didn't, and it didn't bloom good. We'll see if I have to pull out more of the annuals, too close together. So anyways, that's my flagpole, and we'll see how it looks in probably a few weeks. This heat and humidity should really kick up the annuals' growth. Catmint is the purple, and corabelles are the burgundy. The marigolds haven't taken off yet. In fact, the ones that reseeded are going past the ones I bought. Here I thought I'd have early blooms because of buying some marigolds. The self-seeders are catching up real quick. These are gold-tip junipers and a rosy glow 9 bark. Crimson king, sugar maple, another Diablo on the end there, way in the back. Crabapple tree, viburnums, more spirea, gold flame, some global yews, sand cherry, notice on my arch here above the bike, the sweet autumn clematis did not come back from the mother plant. There's reseeds behind there. We'll see if they amount to anything. So when you lose your wow factor, that makes a big difference. William Baffin, climbing rose, which was almost cut, well, it was severely cut back. There were a few like 2-foot canes I left on last year. So it's coming back. Some spiderwort just because it's aggressive and it gives me early color. There's some white asters in there, corabelles, gloriosa daisy reseeds, so almost nothing. There's one marigold I planted in there. Everything else is come back. Red Prince Weigela. Awesome. And it will keep blooming through the summer just a little. But right now is when it's wow. And then you can see we use Diablo 9 bark on the lot line there. Oh, I forgot to show you my, remember I'm trying to screen with Annabelle hydrangeas. Well, not much came back from last spring I planted those, or last fall, but they're coming, and I'll show you the 2-year-old planting. So it will block the pipe and the road. I'd say in 3 years for sure. 2 years it should look better. So let's go back. Take a walk. Creeping Jenny, golden creeping Jenny that I had down in the bog growing, and lobelia, which I thought was all blue, but there's a little lavender pink in there. I lost my honeysuckle on this trellis, so in there I planted a morning glory, and they're so late to come. Dead branch is what I use for twigging. So some of these morning glories will attach to it and then get trained on the fencing. Also, corydalus is in there, and a couple marigolds. Let's go and do the back of the shed first. This gets intense heat, and I think that's why the vining has already started on the Swedish ivy. You can see I'm using the twigging method because I want the lantana to go up on it, so it'll fill in this upper area here. And why do I put the twigs in now and not wait till it is up higher? Is because the root system, it'll be real hard to poke the twigs into the window box dirt once that root system gets bigger. Sweet alyssum starting to grow. Those are all reseeds. I seeded the orange cosmos, and I'm going to pinch this one back because it's getting too tall. I want it to stagger the height from shorter to taller. Can you see how tall these are here? That's my idea. We'll see. There's marigolds in there too. These are the Annabelles that are now, I think they're on their 3rd year. Not sure. 2nd or 3rd year. And they're doing exactly from our deck. Okay, let's say we're at deck height. Now it's hiding the trailer. And it should hide the trailer soon, even when we're walking at that height. Asters, I will be pinching back a little. See how I did that? Chop and drop, and then they'll bloom shorter. That needs to be done usually by the 4th of July, but we're so early this year. Sweet alyssum, I shook the seed last year when I cleaned out that pot behind me. And then a lot of weeds. Perilla's the burgundy one. Fleabane. Perilla will be getting pulled out too, some of it. This is my very much unwanted nasty weed right here. Gets those little prickles on it, and I take it, those are the seeds too. And I gotta get in here because it's invading my chickweed. And the chickweed I use daily. I eat it, and then I make an oil infusion. Chickweed is this one. I'm sure everybody has it. Yes, I like rust in the garden. Some. Buttercups. They're my yellow right now. As is the ground cover is a sedum. Very aggressive sedum, but it's covering the ground, so that's a good thing. lost most of my hens and chicks. I don't know what was with the winter. But this one here, I see that maybe there's one here. It's green with a red tip. So I'll weed this area and see if I can find any more. But where there's one, there'll be more. Purslane. This is part of my supply of eating. And, whoops. So I come out here and I pick. This is a Sweet Autumn Clematis, which is the one that was on that front arch. And it reseeded here, and it was crawling all over this barberry and in this area. So I have to pull it because it's planted about 18 inches away from this arch. It planted itself. But I will train it up and over this arch. Sweet Autumn. Tiny white fragrant flowers. It's spiderwort's time to shine in the garden. See how pretty that sundrops looks tucked in here and there. I leave it come up wherever it wants. Thank you for serenading us. I like that background music. I didn't even have to download that. The red flower, or red orange, is a likeness, only about a foot high. I planted several in there. We'll see if they will all come. And I dropped seed. I see some valerian back there. I also have been leaving that come up wherever it likes to. Adds a dash of white in that blue area. Makes the blue look more intense. Oops, sorry, valerian. It's an herb used for its sedative qualities. The root really stinks, and that's what they use. But the flower smells good. More fleabane. Now I'll be deadheading this, and it'll bloom for a long time. Then you would walk down this path, and you see that Japanese grass. Really lights up that area, especially with the sun drops. I think that's all gold grass. Whoop. The contrast, that snow in the summer, silver foliage looks good against green also. Variegated Heliopsis. That gets a yellow flower. Foliage is probably curling because we are in the 90s, mid-90s. Hawkweed. The orange. Some white yarrow. I think when you have a perennial garden and you want bloom all the time, you welcome reseeders, because then you don't see solid green all over. Without the reseeders or the aggressive spreaders by root, there'd be a lot of green in the garden and just drifts of color like the phlox later. But when the phlox is done, then you have a big drift of nothing. That is why I cut back half of the clumps of phlox. So half of that clump will bloom later, not all at once. Crane's bill. More of the campion. Even the bud is pretty, isn't it? See-through plant. That's what fleabane is. Gloriosas. Getting ready to pop. They'll be the yellow after the primrose. Little bit of a poppy left. Oriental poppy. See the mom Annabelle back there? That's one of them that I take off of. Now that that bridal wreath is done underneath in that shade area there, now the Annabelle will take over the white in the back. A lot of milkweed, and I've been seeing lots of monarchs. Oh, big ears. Lamb's ear. Good for this dry, semi-shady area here. Yes, it seems to do okay in part shade. It gets morning sun. The sedum here down this path, which I haven't weeded lately. Oh, I see rose campion coming up there too. Guess what? I'm going to leave it. The sedum gets that yellow flower. And it should go all the way down the path, but because we walk on the path, it's like deadheading the ones that are on the center stones. And where I don't walk, it blooms. Rose campion, the hot pink. Now that likeness will bloom in part shade. And isn't that a welcome color in the shady area? Well, because it was 93, 95, another 93 today, and then tomorrow 70 something, so we have storms coming in. Let's not do the veggie garden today, okay? It's a veggie garden. It's coming, okay? It's coming, and the heat, the tomatoes are loving the heat and the peppers. And I did some worm poop on them. So let's go walk the shade area, okay? For the last 2 weeks, they say I'm going to be weeding the paths through the garden, but I always find something else to do that has top priority. Now this is that allium called Harry. You can Google it. I got it from like White Flower Farms. That's it. That's all it looks like. See the little burgundy in there? And then those little hairy stems. Well, that's it. And I really don't think it's too cool because it reseeds just like chives. So I have to try and deadhead it before it goes to seed. Stella's blooming. see if I can show you where the deer pruned. I can't show you yet. Pruned the phlox for me. Anything down that way? Let's go this way. Oh, the fragrance down here. I don't know what it is right now. Okay, I can see the goat's beard, the tall goat's beard is blooming right behind the big blue angel hostas, that white goat's beard. That gets about 6 foot. And I don't have it propped this year with twigs, so when the storm comes through, it's probably going to be laying flat. Masterwort, nice shade perennial. Comes in different colors. I prefer the darker pink color, but this is what I got. Beanberry, doll's eyes, is setting its seed now. It was an insignificant white flower in spring. And there's red doll's eyes, which I have, and there's white. So the red really makes that chartreuse, the hosta leaves, pop. Really pretty, in my opinion. Corbel got a little pink going on here, which there should be more, but I think the deer ate you. And the circle flower, which is in the loosestrife family. Ooh, the white astilbes are blooming. Pretty ferns, ostrich ferns. Now what I am going to do is dig out the one that went across the path. There's a couple of them, because I don't want this whole area of ferns, and it would fill in. Let's see, are there any blooms on this climbing hydrangea this year? I doubt it. Not yet. Maybe next year. It'll look pretty when it hangs up there on that naturally arched tree trunk. Okay guys, this is my weedy area. Still, nature's pretty. When I do weed down here, I concentrate around some of the perennials so it doesn't choke them out. Lungwort. I think this one's Mrs. Moon. Japanese painted ferns. Oh, and goat's beard. See, my garden you can walk totally around. So you got to have all sides looking pretty decent. But I always liked walking. I did it purposely because of my grandkids can get up close to some of these huge plants. Ligularia, the rocket, likes this moist area. Gets a yellow daisy-like flower on it. Unlike, no, did I say the rocket? I maybe did. That's not the rocket. That's Ligularia orthello. Burgundy foliage and a yellow daisy flower. That's a Japanese sedge. Likes the moist. The rocket is behind me and isn't forming flowers yet. And the foliage of the rocket is green and the flower is spiky and yellow. Loosestrife, firecracker. No fairy garden this year, guys. Didn't get it out, and I don't want to put it away. The common daylily, orange, which is much appreciated down here, is starting to bloom. so pretty. Green and orange look so pretty together. The blooms of the wild Solomon seal. Now those will turn to navy blue berries, and the deer doesn't like them. So they'll eat the leaves and then just leave the berries. These they haven't found yet, because I love the arching habit of them, and usually the deer eat it before it arches, and then I have stubs. But not this year. They're looking pretty here. They ate all my variegated though. Whoops, I'm going into the sun now. Sorry, guys. That was a secondary raspberry patch, which failed because it's too wet down here. Got morning glory going up and over here. I had it last year, so it'll go up and over to the, whoops, the greenhouse frame. Okay, I have no bean. Well, I see one bean coming up. I had beans planted here, but they're beans that I saved. So, and they're 3 years old. So I'm gonna have to go buy some because I want more pole beans. See how I twigged? So those beans that are in a container, I think they're yellow. And I thought the package said bush, but I didn't trust it, so I put in saplings. Brandywine left over, grown in a pot in the bog, set in the bog. Pumpkins. Now this is a real wet area, so this is real iffy here if they make it. Last year they didn't make it. I'll be taking out those trees. It was just to mark, so I didn't step on them when I was in there. Pumpkin patch. Jalen made that for me, my granddaughter. She also made me one I forgot to show you. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I could have showed you up in the front west garden. How are these peas doing? In the bog, constantly moist. I had to put a shade cloth up yesterday for my west garden peas. Okay, we have kohlrabi coming up in this container with some verbena Buenos Aires. Nothing yet. Oh, how can I say nothing? Purslane, my edible. And some beets and some dill. And my blueberries. So I'm going to say bye for now, guys. And thank you for coming in for another Tea Time Tuesday. I'll get to harvest some blueberries this year. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.